Home prices in Texas are falling across the state. Price cuts in cities like Dallas, Austin, and San Antonio are starting to look severe. We know that many experts in the past year have pointed to specifically Austin, declaring it the epicenter of the next big housing crash. And if you look at new data coming out of Texas, we can see there are strong reasons to be concerned. Inventory levels in a lot of these cities are surging by the day, and as you know, the common theory among experts is that inventory tells the tale, meaning that most of the time, the amount of homes for sale in a particular area is indicative of whether or not prices will go up or down. The start of every single housing crash can be often characterized by a strong jump in available houses for sale. For example, using Realtor.com data and the Reventure App, we can see that the number of listings for sale in the Austin market has increased by 47%. The growth has been so rapid that this year we exceeded the levels that we saw before the great health crises of 2020. Essentially, there are as many houses for sale in Austin today as there were in 2019. This is part of the reason that we saw a big crash here in 2022 when home prices collapsed seemingly overnight last summer. Now prices have mostly stabilized in the city, but there are many who point to other dangerous indicators that seem to be flashing red despite this so-called rebound. For example, sticking to Austin, we can see that the number of days a home typically stays on the market has more than doubled in the past year. In June of 2022, an average listing would stay up for around 21 days. Today, that number has jumped to 45. This, to a lot of people, is seen as a damaging demand indicator, showcasing the fact that the Austin market is still in trouble despite how prices have been behaving lately, and soon it will face another collapse of sorts. One that may be seen as the canary in the coal mine, serving as the template for the rest of the country. Keep in mind that over the past week, there have been massive movements in the bond market that shocked a lot of people. And this fact just adds fuel to the fire. The 10-year Treasury in particular moved from 3.6% at the start of the summer to nearly 4.1%. This may not seem like much, but this unexpected climb caused mortgage rates to shoot past 7% to levels we have not seen in 23 years. Today, with sky-high prices already making the market sensitive, even small moves above that 7% number can generate a massive hit towards demand and eventually prices. These radical moves in what was once a stable marketplace have shocked experts over and over again, and guessing their impact is nearly impossible. We have yet to see the full impact of these recent developments, but given the already poor data coming out of Texas even prior to these developments, it wouldn't shock me to see severe price declines to close the year. Economists know that every market has a breaking point, and with each point that this rate moves up, we move closer and closer to the edge of the cliff. Now, before I reveal where this cliff is, please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the content thus far. Each like I receive is fuel for the algorithm to push this video further, and I would greatly appreciate it if you took just 5 seconds to help me out. Now back to the video. So where is this cliff, this point of no return? Well, we know that above 7% is the true unknown. This is a territory that we haven't experienced since the 90s, and when you consider just how much prices are inflated, interest rates aside, the housing market begins to resemble a stack of cards. With each gentle move up in rates, the foundation shakes and wobbles, toying with the laws of economics. All over Texas, we see evidence that it's here where the crash will begin. Even outside of hotspots like Austin, there are massive inventory troubles in cities like Temple. In that particular market, the number of active listings is surging by the day. Today, that number sits at 1620, which is actually 21% higher than what was observed in July 2019. Elsewhere in the state, the same story applies. In Waco, Texas, active listings jumped nearly 10% in July alone, also exceeding the levels we saw in 2019. According to Lance Lampert, among the nation's 200 largest housing markets as tracked by Realtor.com, only 7 markets are back to pre-2020 inventory levels. Of those 7, 5 are in Texas. In essence, what I'm trying to say here is that if there's a market to watch, it's here in Texas. And as interest rates move up and demand continues to soften, Texas is where we'll see the big changes come first. Now, where all of this goes comes back to essentially this one financial instrument that rarely gets talked about on real estate channels, and it's the 10-year yield. If this continues to move up, the damage to the market can grow exponentially. A lot of bond experts believe that if for some reason this 10-year yield is able to break through the local high, which is right here at 4.21% set back in October, then 5% will quickly become a new possibility. So what does this mean for us? Well, if the 10-year is able to reach that 5% level, then it's very likely that mortgage rates would exceed 8%, pushing us into truly unknown territory, not just on the residential level, but in the overall economy as well. We know that even right now, you can get a 1-year CD that pays you around 5.5%. Now, a person who's looking to invest in a property, if he's lucky, can expect a 7% rate of return. As rates continue to rise, so do fixed income returns, which means that investors will be less and less likely to invest in homes, as they could simply lock up their money in a bank account for 1 year and get returns on par or even exceeding those they would get from a property. And best of all, they get to do this with absolutely no work. Just create the account and wire the money. This effect also has many other consequences as well. Commercial real estate begins to falter, the stock market typically weakens, banks experience difficulties, consumers spend less, and governments tighten their budgets. Overall, it acts as a handbrake on the entire economy, and now as we surpass 7%, the wheels are beginning to lock up. The hope is that we experience something known as a soft landing, but when we press this hard on the brakes, you never know if the Federal Reserve will be able to have complete control on the way down. In cities like Austin, the impact will be felt almost immediately, while in other spots that remain supply constrained, the damage will take time to become apparent. How much higher we can tolerate is the question everyone is trying to answer. And where it goes from here is anyone's guess, but what we can say is that if there is trouble ahead, it will likely be first spotted here in the Lone Star State. Thank you guys for watching. As always, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed it, and if you're facing difficulty finding a home, please consider heading over to foreclosure.com with the link in the description. Foreclosure.com can help you find some of the best deals available today by targeting distressed properties such as bank-owned homes, government foreclosures, pre-foreclosure listings, and foreclosure auctions. Whether you're looking for a single-family home, condo, townhouse, or mobile home near you, Foreclosure.com provides the most up-to-date listings of all property types. Please check out the link below.